Welcome to the Warrior Marriage and Family Podcast. My name is Dr. Corey Gilbert, and I believe that your marriage and your family are worth fighting for. My goal is to empower you to fight for what matters most. This podcast is about you, your family, your marriage, and your children, and will include interviews and teaching on a biblical ethic on sexuality and gender. I want you to know that you're not alone, that others have walked down the same road, and there is victory. Let's get into today's episode. Hey, this is Dr. Corey Gilbert with the Warrior Marriage Podcast and the Healthy Marriage Inner Circle. And today I want to look at what we're going to do as we reopen this world of ours. And we've been locked down and we've been kind of tucked away for a while. And some of you have done some amazing things with friends and family in that space. And others have hunkered down to finish school. And others have picked up some new habits and some new skills. And I hope that this has been a good time and again good for you, I guess you could say. It's not been for everyone. There's a lot of people who this has been an absolute nightmare for them, living in fear. And so I want us to look forward. As we look forward to what's to come, some states have opened, some haven't yet. It's going to be a slow process. But here's some notes just for us to think about. First thing to think about is it's not about who was right or wrong. And if we're not careful, we actually fall into a place of judgment. What we're going to find out now, we're going to be able to look back and see what was right, what was wrong, what went well, what didn't, what we should have done, coulda, shoulda, wouldas. Not helpful. What are we going to do next? This is done. This has actually already made its imprint on the world. The lockdown has made its imprint on academics. I know I'm going to see that through where I teach and the university systems. I actually am excited. I'm actually very intrigued by, okay, Lord, how are you going to use this to change kind of what we do and how we do it? It's going to change counseling and coaching and teaching and all sorts of stuff. And honestly, nothing's going to take away from the face-to-face. There's something about that. But new worlds have opened up. And I think this is going to be a beautiful thing. So it has made it smart. It has closed businesses. It has impacted people in so many ways. But we're not new to this. This has happened before. And people have had to pivot and have had to change. And can we trust that God actually has our best interest at heart, even when what it seems like is everything was taken away? So be careful with our judgment towards others or towards what was imposed upon us, if you will, or what was kind of commanded from on high for us, because this has impacted everyone greatly. And so that's really important. Focus on adding back routine intentionally. This is number 2. Focus on adding back routine intentionally. Don't go back to business as usual as soon as you're kind of free. Find a new rhythm. Find a new you and us and family. Don't go back. This is a shout out to really reevaluate and critically evaluate all that you have committed to, that you spend time with. And maybe this is a time to drop some things. Maybe this is a time to add some new things. Maybe you've picked up some new skills and habits during this time that you need to continue. Maybe you got into some exercise routines you've been wanting to do and now you're actually doing them. Don't let them go. Maybe you picked up reading books that you've not read in so long, and don't let that go. Find a way to make that a priority. And if it's been Netflix, yeah, that's one that needs to go. If it's been just binge watching shows, yeah, that's time to drop that. It's time to start something different and do something more productive. Video games, same thing. But find those things that actually open you up and help you thrive. This goes for the commitments you have for each of your kids and your whole family, the family as a whole. Be intentional about what really, really matters. Because the truth is as we've kind of pared back, as all of us have done, it really has highlighted what matters. And a lot of these things we thought were so important aren't as important, even though so many are facing losses of graduations. So many are getting married and it's not the big celebration like they wish it could be. And there's a lot of losses, but it allows us to be able to think about what our priorities are, maybe what's really, really important. Number 3 here is don't live in fear. You're not meant to have a spirit of fear, of timidity even. You're supposed to have one of boldness and of even risk. And so I hope that you'll not let the current climate, the current conversations, in this season, here in 2020, be a time where you live in fear. If you have been living in fear, that you'll repent and turn, that you'll actually let go of that, which is actually very, very doable. And that kind of leads into this next one, which is number 4 here. You can control your body. If you live in anxiety, you can control that anxiety. There's actually incredibly easy to learn ways to actually change the way anxiety is experienced in your body. And I encourage you to reach out and find someone to help you do that. That's one of the things that I do and love to work with people on. You can control the way that trauma and other bad stuff that's happened in the past is experienced in your body or stops getting experienced in your body, and let go and be free. My belief about some of that is a lot of times what we're looking for is complete freedom, as in erase the past. And for some reason, and I believe it's part of God's design, He doesn't let that happen most of the time. The true healing we're looking for is heaven, and that will happen in heaven. But until then, there can be freedom on this earth, and it's one where you use and steward things from your past for a much more incredible future. And a lot of the keys to that is in our body and how we experience life and relationships and people. And this whole quarantine lockdown has actually shifted things in our body for good and for bad, and we need to address those. Here's number 5, I believe it is. 5, yes. Your relationships are critical, and who you put around you, it's life or death. The people you allow in your life can be life-giving, or they can completely suck the life out of you. They can be an encouragement, or they can be people that actually drag you down. Who are you listening to? If you're listening to the news, turn it off. Check in every once in a while. Make sure it's periodically, not daily, not constantly. Be careful with who you let in, because you will get cynical, you will get angry, you will get frustrated, you will not be able to function. And so that also goes for who you listen to around in your circle. The peers you have, the people that are of influence, the podcasts you listen to, listen to this one though, that's a good one. The podcast you listen to, the books you read, because what you put in, you've got to do something with. So who you surround yourself with really, really matters. John 16:33 says, "Here on earth you will have many trials and sorrows, but take heart, because I have overcome the world." Can we trust that He has overcome the world, and that all of this in some weird way is meaningless, and that He's victorious, and we can trust in Him. We can take heart. We can pause. We can actually have faith in Him. And here's what I want you to do. Last thing, dream big. As we come out of this, don't just go back to what was. Dream big. What is your day? What do you want your day to look like? What do you want your week to look like? What do you want your weekends to look like? What do you want your next year, next summer, 2, 3, 4 years from now to look like? Dream big and expect great things. Dream with your spouse. Dream with your family. Make plans. Be excited. And do things that are not necessarily what you would have done in the past. Business-wise, take risks. The only ones that don't fail are the ones that don't give up. This current climate has changed that in the sense of economics. Of some just literally failed because of there's no money, there's no people buying, and that's heartbreaking. What's going to be next? What if? Dream big and change the world. Change the world from how you relate to your husband, to your wife, how you relate to your kids, how you relate to those closest to you, and on kind of outside those circles, and as you get further and further away. How are you going to influence the world for greatness, for great things? From my context, how are you going to impact the world for Christ? That is the most important thing. So I hope you'll remember these things. Don't be careful that you're not in judgment. It's not about right or wrong. That's number 1. Number 2, focus on adding back routine intentionally. 3 is don't live in fear. 4 is you can control your body. You can train your body to not respond in the ways it has in the past, and get help to do that. It's really, really imperative. And then the relationships you create, these are critical. They can be life-giving, or they can actually destroy you. And dream big. Bless you, bless your marriage, and bless your family. Thank you for tuning in to the Warrior Marriage and Family Podcast. It has been an honor to serve. Find out more about resources for you and your family's growth and success at healinglive.com. Thank you to our sponsor, the Healthy Marriage Inner Circle. You can join the conversation in my free Facebook group anytime at facebook.com/groups/thehealthymarriage. To access my new best-selling book for parents, go to ican'tsaythat.com to purchase and receive the audiobook for free. Remember that your marriage and family are worth fighting for. This is Dr. Corey Gilbert. See you next time.